I think the key crisis that is occurring in academia has to do with a contentment problem. And you'll see a lot of headlines. There's always lots of headlines about how the whole game is falling apart. But when you actually go talk to real people, they will tell you that um, they often have a lot of edginess about them. And when you talk to people that have been successful at it for a long time and they have built things or done things, they often have this sort of sense of wisdom, or, and what I like to think about is just contentment, being okay with who you are at any given moment, realizing that you can't accomplish everything. And as I've been building out this reciprocity project, I see that all the time, that people want to get to some place very quickly. And they want to get all of the quick lessons. And what does it take to get from, from a student to a master, or, in the innovation side, what does it take to build a platform? And if you haven't built this platform in such a fast amount of time, then you're considered a failure, right? If you haven't built something that grew overnight and you became this highly successful individual overnight, then you're somehow a failure. But in my view, and you could see all of these videos I put out, a lot of it is just day-to-day contentment, where you just simply be okay with who you are at any given moment. And it requires a lot of just feeling good about yourself and practicing feeling good. And I know that sounds really strange to say that, because I don't think that feeling good is a natural thing. I don't think that we intentionally, or many of us intentionally, have it that way. Maybe it was your parents that made you not feel good, or your upbringing, or your genetics, any of those kind of things. But I think a lot of us have to work at this, where we need to really take these steps forward, where we just have quiet confidence inside, where we become a better human being. Because if you have this stability inside, where you don't have this sort of restlessness that a lot of people, other people feel, which I feel, right? I'm not saying that I don't feel those things, but I feel those things, and I have to practice to have contentment. And when I practice to feel that way, then I don't do all of the behaviors that I think I would do. And I calm myself down at any given moment. So today, right, on the reciprocity platform, I'll do one video, or there'll be a little bit of coding that gets done. I have a development team that works on a little bit of coding that gets done. It's going to be halfway done, and it's not going to be that great, but there's always tomorrow. There's always one more day that you put in, and you refine, you continue to build, and you continue to do things. But the only way that I know how to do this is to not think about things strategically, or think about things in terms of, I got to get there as quick as I possibly can, but learn how to do things as slow as I possibly can. Really think about how I can, cook things, right? It's a slow process. If you think about most things in life that are actually worthwhile, that we love and that we cherish, things like big buildings, for example, or things like nature around us, this giant tree that's actually right there. And I don't know if you can see, it's a really big tree. Those things take a long time, and they require a little bit of growth every single day. And they constantly, in fact, many trees don't even grow for half the time that they're alive. In the wintertime, they slow down. And I want you to think about that. What does it mean to do things, to grow, and to be successful in the long run for you? How are you actually going to do that? And if you look at this and you want to become successful, you have to develop a sense of, I'm okay at any given moment. And yes, this year I'm going to do a little bit, and maybe I'm going to spend some resources that look like it's going to be completely pointless and useless. That's what I go through every single day, or I spend effort on this thing, but that's okay. That whole thing of getting to someplace a lot quicker doesn't necessarily matter right at this moment, right? And if you could practice this repeatedly, as many times as you possibly can. I know it's so painfully hard because I struggle with that every single day. But if you can practice this every single day, where you're just, I'm okay at this given moment. I'm going to think about how I can sort of set my life up in a way that I can be okay in 20 years. But at this moment, I'm not going to rush to actually get there. I'm going to figure out what does it mean to do these little tiny things that allow me to feel content, allow me to feel good inside. And I'm going to repeatedly do those things. Because if I do those things where I'm content, I feel good, I try every day, then that allows me to get to the next stage. Because when you don't feel that, and you feel like you're panicking, you need to get to someplace very, very quickly, all of a sudden everything feels like a crisis. And you feel like you want to do things that are not necessarily good for you, like be aggressive or political, or not be a nice human being, which I think we need to practice. If you practice a lot, where you practice this contentment inside, where you're saying, yeah, it's not my problem, I don't need to deal with this, or I just need to do my little tiny thing every single day. If I practice this on a regular basis, I am more likely to get to where I need to get to. And it all kind of works out in the end. I know that sounds really ridiculous, but I want you to think about if you were a tree, right? Let's make this analogy. You said, I want to grow really fast, really hard today in the next year. You're going to realize you can't grow that quick. You're going to grow a couple of inches, and that's okay. But if you have this view where you say, I'm going to grow over the next 50 years, where something is going to happen and it's going to be a good thing, then you'll grow up to be a giant oak tree that everybody recognizes. But here's the thing that's really cool, is that because you did this, you took the time to grow for those 50 years, your thing that you've done is going to last for 500 years, as some of these oak trees actually last. So I encourage you, slow down, practice this contentment as much as you possibly can. I know it's hard to do, but just practice that. It's going to make you more happy, and it's going to allow you to keep going every single day, which is far more important than thinking about how you need to get so quick to some place that you don't even know where you're going. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.